Life is like you owning a home and you hired, what they call it, a landscaping company. You don't work too hard to purchase your home. Don't let a landscaping company depreciate your real estate value. You get rid of that goddamn landscape company and you go find a better one.
All aboard!
Outdoor service owners, rise and shine. It's time to start fueling your success one adventure at a time. Welcome to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur, brought to you by House Call Pro, where business owners learn and explore ways to take charge and level up. Today, we're going to talk about cutting costs and boosting profits, how analyzing expenditures can be your business's secret weapon. We are your host. I'm Kevin Fontaine, and this is Patrick Harders with a heart of gold. Join us on this journey every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and listen to wherever we get your podcasts. And follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Hey, Pat, how you doing today?
Doing great, Kevin. Good to see you. Fun to be here as always.
Yeah, man.
Learned a big lesson this week.
Yeah?
So I was asked to do cornhole, asked to do all these different things. I'd been traveling, and I'm like, I'm not going to do anything. And then I got filled with going to meet with my daughter's swim coach, doing a garden club event. And I'm like,
whoa, you got pulled into that racket?
Yeah. It's like, uh-oh. I got to make plans to get crap like barbecuing and cornhole and stuff like that.
Yeah, the important stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law, we started volleyball practices for the summer, and that's a cool thing. It's a really nice facility. Tons of girls go there and practice all kinds of volleyball technique and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, it's always good to have them in sports, but it is a very time-consuming event.
Yeah, trying to get the wifey back into Pilates, and I got to get my butt out there.
Yeah.
Jogging again because I'm getting the beer guts catching up to me.
Yep, it'll do that.
So, guys, what we're going to do is, it's not all about, I got to get more customers. I got to spend more money on marketing. I got to, get the next lead. It's about take the time to stop yourself and say, hey, what are we doing wrong now internally? Look inside yourself, the organization, and how you're operating your current situation. And you can really start shaving unnecessary cost and unnecessary events as far as manual labor and wasted time and all that good stuff. Right, Pat?
Yeah. I mean, this is a discussion point that a lot of entrepreneurs just tune out, me included, where I'm like, crap, this is the non-fun part of the job. It's the bean counter going like, how do we make sure we're not over expending ourselves? And it's so easy to get into the trap. It's like, just make more money, which is one of our slogans that, Damien and I say all the time is like JM3, just make more money. But on the backside, you could be losing, so much going out the back door that you're not seeing it happen. And all that work you do
That's
is
right.
for nothing. So
what's the point?
Yeah.
Oh man, I made a shitload of money and damn, I spent a shitload of money. What's the point?
Yeah.
It's just, you're just wading in open water with no paddle.
Sitting down and looking at your accounting program and going, what the hell is this expense all about?
Right.
And it's something that I have on my to-do list right now, but it's so hard to be motivated because it's the non-fun thing. And it's like, I'd rather make a $20,000 sale than, cut out $59 a month. But
yeah,
at the end of the year, that's where your money, you start looking, you just don't want to turn your books over to the accountant at the end of the year and go like, hey, you made 3%.
I know. That's a rough conversation right there. Dreams of increasing profit margin. We pour our hearts and souls into our own service companies, but sometimes it's hard to squeeze out that magic number at the bottom line. The key to bigger profits can lie in not just selling more, but building in efficiencies and spending less. By analyzing your expenditures and you're strategically cutting costs, you can unlock hidden potentials within your business currently today and watch profits soar. Pat?
Yep. Yeah. We're often caught up on that big sale, but if the big sale's not profitable.
Yeah, what's the point? You're working to work.
Yeah. Keep the guys busy. Terrible idea.
And how many times, Pat, when we were young, we coming up to payroll and we even had to take out or limit our own pay
Oh yeah.
to help out payroll for the
Yep.
week because we were
La-
short.
Last one to get paid.
Yep. So there's weeks, where business owners won't even get paid because they're fighting those costs that keep hitting them over the head. Think of your business as a machine. Every dollar that comes in is basically fuel to optimize performance and get the most out of your fuel. You need all those parts inside your organization running efficiently, well lubed. Hello, analyzing expenditures is like taking that machine to the mechanic, right? You got to analyze current situation. How's our systems? How's processes? The daily routines. Are we efficient? Are we looking at waste, et cetera? And identify those where it's a burning unnecessary fuel, excessive spending, and make those adjustments to improve and cost cut.
Yeah. Imagine, I think one thing that we also have to talk about is, the conversations we have with employees, because let's say you've been doing this for 20 years and you're making good money and you're not coming in the office 7 days a week anymore. But, we're the ones that take on the risk. We're the ones that get the tax bill at the end of the year. We're the ones that don't get paid. Like, I'm paying my employees before I pay myself. If I can't pay them, then they don't have a job. So it's like, there is the reward to the whole process at the end, that if you build it up right and you grow, that, you do have more free time, and, that's what we're all striving for. But you have to manage, and those expenses can go out of control quickly. And it's tough because it feels like you've lost sometimes, where you're like, man, I was, sales were in, we did $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 this month, but we didn't make much money because we had, so much more in advertising. And we tend to be very like risk adverse and say like, hey, this isn't really working, so I'm going to double down on it. And I'm going to increase my ad campaigns to get more leads coming in. And then when you analyze it, you're like,
man. And, here's some steps you can take. Step one is budgeting and having a good accounting software in place that can start tracking expenditures and creating a report card where you can get reports from that. QuickBooks Intuit's a very popular one, and you can download your expenditure reports and profit and loss statements, etc. You're going to have categories of rent, utilities, fuel. You can categorize so many things: equipment spending, marketing spending, etc.
we could do a year-over-year analysis to go like, wait, why? Like for us, I just looked like, why is our cell phones, they're 100% more expensive this year than last year? Right. Something changed in our plan that, I didn't really give a crap about, but now all of a sudden that's $5,000 that's gone.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to start, you start preparing that budget before the new year, obviously, because you want to put it in place. And, come Thanksgiving, when you start getting some more free time, start working on that annual budget and put in all the historic costs that you've used before, and put those down and hold yourself accountable as a business owner to at least stay at or below, if possible, of all those expenditures. Marketing's one that's tough because marketing changes so much, with all these new digital tools and like the dinosaur that jumps out at you when you look at the ad, and it's like they're constantly making AI improvements on marketing. So it's tough for us to stay in budget and say, I don't want to spend that much, but damn, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Should I do it?
And what worked 5 years ago probably won't work. We had a catalog that killed it. I mean, it was great. Now it sucks. And so,
why do you think so? I mean, it was a nice, a glossy brochure of some
12-page brochure, showed everything. And
you custom mailed it to certain zip codes?
Everybody we used to do it $1 million home and above, and now we're at 1.5 million. But the return's gone down. Google Ads is another one that it's so easy to just drop money in Google Ads, and then management of Google Ads and everything else. So, you really want to be looking consistently, worst case, a monthly basis is what's going on, and, what leads are coming in and what are turning into sales, not getting tricked. into a couple of things, like that one big sale that just offsets everything. If that's not duplicated, you could say like last year our number one lead source was X, but it was really just 2 jobs that got us set. If those 2 jobs don't come in, then it's a waste. So
Yeah.
it's an art and a science going through things like that. But it's best, the guerrilla,
The guerrilla marketing.
yeah,
That's where it's at for me. I've always been heavier on guerrilla, and that's your basics, lawn signs, yard signs rather,
yeah,
little quick door hangers. We even did Frisbees that were monogrammed and threw them out into driveways. Word of mouth, referral rewards. So all your customers get $50 or whatever you want to put for future service with each customer they send your way. And just the simple things. Pat, this one story, yard signs are everywhere. And I was going to a customer's house and, normally you'll see people put them at a busy intersection,
yeah,
etc. But as people like townships mow, or it might be an HOA community that they'll rip those out every week.
everywhere. Yeah,
So I saw this tree company sign. Very cleverly, he put it about 30 feet up a pole.
yeah, yeah,
And stapled it up there. So he must have went out there like 2 a.m. with a huge ladder and stapled that bitch up there. But I thought, wow, nobody's getting that down for a while.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
that's pretty clever. If that's your thing, right?
Yeah, and I think it's hard on the high end to go after that. Like I'm not finding an attorney or an accountant by like, hey, I saw a guy put a yard sign out on the side of the road. If I'm doing that, I'm like, I found like Sal or like from Better Call Saul, something like that, just some greasy guy that's gonna get it done. And so, it is something you just have to be aware of, like that when you're young and you're just getting going, like you just want to get your name out there. But as you establish yourself, there's other things you could do. Like, reviews are huge because, not all neighbors talk. A lot of people work and they don't know each other, but
Right.
getting your own projects, getting photographs of your projects and all that has nothing to do with the, looking at your expenses, but it is something that your business may evolve over time. And so,
Yeah. And
wanna look at
another
that.
thing that's very populated and very popular is Nextdoor. Nextdoor is like a Facebook of referrals. People all the time on Nextdoor, they'll say, hey, does anybody have a good plumber recommendation, good landscaper, good, etc.? And those pop up so often, albeit they're normally smaller jobs, very one-time off jobs, painters, recommendations, but it is a frenzy of people will literally post 20 different comments of 20 different facilities
Yeah.
or servicemen
Yep.
under
And
each question. But
Facebook has like local groups that you could join as well. And that always happens.
Yeah.
But it's funny you're talking about this because I was down in Charlotte. I'm with Tom Fennick. He's running a company called Imagine Outdoor Lighting. Their number one lead source was Nextdoor.
wow.
And so they had developed a system where Tom's wife and about 5 of their friends, each in different communities, would always they would start post off, they would write something, and as soon as they get a job done, they say, hey, can you take a picture of your job tonight and put it on Nextdoor and just talk about your experience?
Yeah.
And they were ready to comment on it. But, that was consistently getting them. Like, she's like, if he ever needed a lead that week, I'd go I'll get you 2. And it was just through Nextdoor. So
Yeah.
I was
works.
busy setting up my Nextdoor account yesterday. So
Oh,
25
were you?
years.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little
Yeah,
process.
it works because it's a very populated and active platform
Yeah.
of people consistently. Not only they're also talking about damn
Lost
kids,
dog and
damn kids running down my yard and complaint. There's a lot of complaints on there, but there's a lot of asking for service providers
yeah.
that they recommend. So that's a great guerrilla marketing platform. Is anything that's low cost that you can branch out and do. So like Pat said, also social media posting is relatively inexpensive if you do it in-house. So take the time on weekends or evenings, mornings, early to post updated pictures of your work. Maybe how to do a particular service. There's a lot of guys out there showing people how the work's actually done. And, just getting people active and educated and involved with your craft.
Yeah.
And that shows off your passion. I know we've done a lot of YouTube videos before, and those work well because they search SEO very well. The other guerrilla thing is your website. Have a good website. Big Tuna that we plug all the time is an excellent provider. They have a very low cost monthly amount, and they don't charge up front for that build out. But they're responsive websites that go to mobile phones, iPads. And what I like to do, Pat, what I want to do more of is blog posting.
Yeah.
So on our website, we have a blog. So what I do is I'll post a topic. Let's say it's summertime, landscaping. I'm going to talk about drought awareness, water awareness, and I'll create or partially AI a post. I'll send it to Big Tuna. They'll post it in there as the latest blog with a picture. And then what I do is I go to Constant Contact, take all our customers, and you can organize them into certain lists. So commercial, residential, whatever. And then I blast them with, hey, summer services, check out hardscaping. By the way, water your lawns. It's starting to get hot and dry. Read more here. And then it goes to the blog post. Well, all that's SEO generating because it's anytime you can plug your website to another website, to this, that, or the other, and you start getting cross-pollination, Google picks up on that and they start saying, oh, well, this matters in regards to how to protect your lawns for summer heat and water awareness. If someone searched that, my blog post could potentially show up there.
Yep.
And so, that's guerrilla. That's low cost, informational, educational, entertaining type activities that we do as business owners that involves our business. Keep plugging away at that because it works.
Yeah. And I would imagine there's a number of people listening that are like me. Like personally, I hate social media. I don't give a crap what you're eating.
I know.
I don't care about 90%.
I mean, I can't take a picture of my pizza tonight and send it to you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm a private person, so I don't like it. I'm like, who gives a crap? But, I was listening to Grant Cardone and he was going through, he's like, you got to think it's free marketing. Like you have an opportunity right now to really get your message out. And there was a time where he was putting out, it was like 25, 30 tweets a day just on his business.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Alex Hermosa.
Yeah, same thing. So it's like, I don't want to go to that level just because, that's pretty encompassing.
Well,
but there are systems out there that can help.
Yeah, there's people that will create newsletters and blog posts for you. But, pick someone, your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend to who's more creative, more outgoing, an employee even that is skilled at that. You may hire that position eventually. I know, Pat, we did. We hired a social media manager, marketing, videographer, all that good stuff, when we were larger. But, pick somebody that is receptive to doing social media posts. And the key to social media posting, Alex Hermosa will tell you this too, is consistency. Always post, hump day Wednesday post about yada yada. Make it fun. Put some humor into some of your postings a certain day of the week, but always so they can count on it. So what you're doing is creating followers that are going to celebrate your content and start replying, forwarding, share that content with others. And you can get into social media is very heavy on entertainment. So you're going to waste a lot of time with this whole entertaining type value of it. You won't get a damn customer out of it.
No.
But it's a necessary evil to highlight other posts about, hey, look at this job. We solved this solution. We provided a solution for a customer. Check it out. and they had this big issue, and we solved it. Because a lot of times, Pat, guys get into the rut of, oh, look at me, look at the beauty, look at my work, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
But
Everybody
reality
has to,
is, you got to make that customer shine. So put the customer's problem and the expectation and outcome into that posting, so they see a value of, wow, you care about customers, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a evolving thing.
And there's a really good book. We had him speak at our event one time. He owned a company, or was managing a company called River Pools, and they went from a bankrupt pool manufacturer, fiberglass pool, to the largest pool manufacturer in America in 5 years.
God damn.
And so his whole thing was, they ask, you answer. And so it's like, you got, like, I'm guilty of it. I've got videos that are just gorgeous. It shows all this crap, like people enjoying their space. But he's like, are you answering the questions that the customers actually have?
Right.
You know, what is the concern? Because, like, my concern is, like, I'm making a space beautiful. You know, what they said is, you know, the answer to the question that pool people are looking for is, they want to build a pool so that you're buying time with your family. Like, they want that, they want time with their family. The pool is what they think is the solution to that problem. Yeah.
I mean, buying a pool is such a big cost that you have to really wrap your head around, because my wife and I have always said, man, we should put in a pool in the backyard, but there's so many things that go around that. As a business owner, I'm thinking, after you put it in, how many times are you going to use the damn thing? Because a lot of, once the newness wears off, it's like buying a beachfront property.
Yeah.
You're going to go out to the beach like every day, a few times a week. And then eventually I can see yourself just staying in the kitchen and just looking out at the water, which is nice too.
Sport court is the one I always love, where people are like, I built this sport court because my son showed some interest in basketball. I'm like, did he ever play? Like, no. It's too hot.
I know. And we used to do, cool thing we used to do, Pat, was niche, was in-ground trampolines.
Oh, yeah.
We got into that as far as introducing that into our landscape construction team. That was fun as hell, man. And those are fun projects. They're not super difficult once you get them figured out.
Yeah.
And
did you almost kill yourself on a trampoline ever?
You can, man, because there's a lot of times those ground level systems, you can opt to not have the boundary net.
Yeah.
And because it's clean, super clean looking.
Yeah.
When they're not there. And you can find yourself, onto a fence that's nearby, or onto a damn pool deck.
Yeah.
If you're not careful where they're placed.
Yeah.
But I would definitely recommend the safety nets when you're doing those.
Yeah.
So yeah, guerrilla marketing, go for it. It's always has worked in the past. It always will work, but it is a lot of manual time spent.
Yeah.
So you're going to spend a lot of time. So there is a cost involved with that. Job routing. Let's talk about routing. You know, especially reoccurring services, lawn care, mosquito applications, landscaping maintenance. You're always going week by week or month by month to the same place, and you're servicing 10, 15, 20, 40 a day even. So routing optimization is so critical, because it's just like FedEx and UPS. They have the most sophisticated routing system probably in the world, because remember UPS or something, they said they don't make left turns or something.
Yeah.
Because it's always, routing for right turns even. So you can get very detailed with it. Use a service software that has routing built in. I know Google, and there's others that have some free, simple routing features, but that's a big one, man. Replacing software with manual inputs is huge.
But that all adds up. The driving time, seeing, like, why did my guy stop for an hour?
Yeah.
Which we don't think anyone would ever do that. It happens.
It happens a lot. People expect what you inspect. Yes. My dad always told me that. So you got to have expectations in place and inspections in place. And cameras in cars and trucks is crucial, not only for drivers of the crew, but crazy drivers on the road.
Oh yeah.
Man, people are constantly cutting in front of you these days
Yeah.
because they always cheat a merge lane and try to get,
Like,
because there's a long row, there's traffic built up because people are normal and smart and be like, I know this runs out. So I'm staying in the right lane, but there's people that go across the intersection and try to cheat in super quick because someone left a damn half car gap.
Yeah.
So you got to have protections against bad drivers too. And that helps, all those YouTube videos you see of accidents and because of a dash cam.
Yeah.
And that can protect.
Really important, I think. Well, going along with that, like we've had systems in the past that they don't communicate. So it's like, if your CRM doesn't communicate with your accounting package and your accounting package is not your CRM, which is, I hear that all the time, like, what CRM are you using? They say QuickBooks. I'm like, that's your accounting package, but you shouldn't be duplicating your efforts. Like you shouldn't be, because you're going to have mistakes if you do that. So you should build systems out that communicate. And there's a lot of them out there that do that. Right. House Call Pro, like they automatically create an invoice, a proposal. It goes into a proposal into QuickBooks.
Yep.
It'll take care of everything for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crucial because you can get into the rut of not only wasting money signing up for subscriptions that are endless and you forget about using them. Constant Contact's one for me that I'll forget about it for 6 months and I have that recurring cost and I got to remember to use it more often and take advantage because it is a good tool if you use it. But, not overbuying softwares because one does this, one does that. But there could be a software, if you investigate it enough, that can do enough multiple things where, it may not be a great this, but at least it does some of the core things I need, quoting, getting it signed off on via email, PDFs, etc., and then talking to my accounting platform, QuickBooks, etc. That's going to save a lot of time, a lot of manual entry of, oh, I got to keep track of this over here, but then I got to input over here, and it's redundancies you got to watch out for. So,
and the subscriptions will get you. Like what happens with me, I'm just a dummy, I guess, because we'll have a great month, and I'm like, oh, I'll give this a try, forgetting that the month beforehand, like we were making up for the slow month in February, and all of a sudden March hits, and we have a great month, and I'm like, much more likely to spend that cash burning in my pocket.
Right.
So I try and sign up with something and, a lot of times like a CRM, you don't have to spend a lot of money for, but I was dumb and went, let me try Salesforce. That's what the big guys are all using.
Oof.
Yeah. So that was 35,000. And then I missed the, like, you get caught in these contracts, and I would tell everybody, avoid companies that lock you in contracts.
Yeah.
Especially the auto renew. So, the cool thing about Salesforce for me is it auto renewed, and I called the week after it did. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're canceling it. And they're like, well, you just have one more year of billing.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. I just went berserk. I'm like, $40,000. Like you just stole 40 grand from me. But it's my fault. I wasn't watching it. And I was like, meant to do it the month earlier, got busy, and then went crap.
Well, that's a great point. So if you're going to sign up for something and do a trial, put it on your calendar, the date you signed and the date that trial expires, because if we forget about it, boom, you start to get hit with that first month's bill and you're not even using the damn thing.
Yeah.
So put that in a reminder type calendar on Outlook or et cetera, Gmail.
If you don't believe me, look at your iTunes. Like, I don't know how many pings I get. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Charge.
It's like $17, $9, or how many stupid TV services do I have now where it's like, Netflix, Hulu. I'm like, Paramount. I'm like, when did I do that? I'm like, oh, I wanted to watch one show and put it out and forgot about it for a year. That's how gym memberships work. Yeah,
and a lot of times you forget how you freaking signed up for it. Mm-hmm. Goddamn, was it Apple? Was it iTunes? Well, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Was it Google, Facebook? I mean, there's so many ways. Let's go to another one that people can cut cost by analyzing your tool organization. Mm-hmm. How many times have people lost your tools. I know when we do lighting jobs, I'll give a set of tools in a nice carry cart and say, off you go. He goes around the house. I'm over here. And we do a final walkthrough before we leave, and we find a hammer here, strippers over there, because people are stupid. They don't understand that every time you use something, you got to put it back.
Yeah. Never have strippers at the job. It slows everybody down. That final walkthrough, like
Slows
checklist,
everybody down.
it took a minute. The checklist is important. Like you probably never used a checklist when you were on a job. I never did. But with my employees, I'm like, oh, I need to create a checklist. And that everybody checks everybody's work at the very end. Like
You got it.
And we always do like, I'll buy you fresh tools once a year. And we kind of came up with a system like I'll replace your tools first time 50%, second time you pay for the full thing, which I've had guys get so angry they want to quit over it. And I'm like, I just can't be buying tools. Like if this is your third time losing your wire tester and they're $120 each, like someone has to pay for that. I don't want to just have it as you don't give a crap, so you lose it. So
yeah. No, you're giving, if us owners that we provide the tools for our staff, you've got to put checks and balances on that. So it prevents them. So they take ownership of those tools and take care of those tools and don't abuse them or lose them.
Yeah.
I know, Pat, we had a thing in place, especially like PPE, because you're giving them those. And even tools, hand tools, et cetera, if PPE, if they need a replacement, it got broke naturally, as long as they brought it to us, we inspect it, boom, we'll give you a new one. But if they can't provide you what's been lost or broken, then that's on them to pay for if it's within our constraints of our agreement up front that we created together. So you got to have checks and balances on tools, and organizing tools is very important. Especially they get rusty. They're out in the elements. They're getting wet all the time. So it takes put in place some tool maintenance activities where you're repairing, you're oiling, you're greasing, you're cleaning routinely as needed. And you'll come up with that depending on how often that's in fact needed. I know in landscaping, we had once a week maintenance because air filters, sharpening blades, etc., grease points was fairly routine. And then we created a dry erase board in the warehouse where we tracked hours on the machines for oil changes. And even truck oil changes, we would have an Excel sheet where we would put last mileage of the oil change or tire rotation or safety inspections, etc. And it auto-populated, hey, the next time you need to do it is X. We would print that off, give it to all the foremen. They would keep it in their trucks and keep an eye on all those next dates or mileages or hours. Boom. It was up to them to perform, or we would often send trucks off to third-party shops, right?
Yeah. Yep. Have you ever gone, like for me, I'll go to Costco hungry.
Oh, that's a mistake.
And I talk to guys all the time. I think one of the worst things you can do is sending your guys out to Home Depot, Site One to go pick up. I'm shocked and light, and guys will be like, oh yeah, I sent my crew out to Home Depot before each job to go pick up things. And, my guys have always liked having the best tools. Like we want Milwaukee, we want new things that I don't know why. I'm like, you're not making money off your, brand new drill when the old drill's working. So,
right.
But first of all, wasting the time in the morning for the guys to go and get supplies that they need will kill you. Second thing is you turn somebody loose at Home Depot or Site One with a credit card, and all of a sudden you're like, well, it wouldn't be bad to have this siphon in case this happens. These gloves would be nice. And you've added up $200-300 really quick besides wasting time. So it's like, even Josh now, my operations manager, he almost orders everything off of Home Depot delivery, suppliers that deliver everything to the office. So he's not driving around to get it.
That's right.
And it makes no sense at all to be driving up to a local store unless it's an emergency.
Yeah, and develop a PO system where people can't spend unless you are issued a PO number or a PO name. So have controls on your spending, especially those that have a credit card
Yeah.
or an open account with Site One or et cetera. You got to put limits to when it's okay to go somewhere and get something, and just develop that in your standard processes and procedures that your company develops over time. As you grow more and more employees, it's so much more
Oh yeah.
crucial to have spending limits and
Yeah.
procedures for that. All right. So another way to cut costs and boost profits is SOPs. You know me, standard operating procedures. Create a system behind every good process for consistency and efficiency. Do not let your employees dictate how to perform the job. Create a step-by-step detail of how you like to have that job performed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for all your main routine type services. You don't have to do it on everything, but take it, look at it, analyze it, test it, and then train that SOP to all staff that comes your way.
Yeah. And I'd say be slow on hiring as well. Like if you could outsource it, outsource it. Because you could fire an outsourcing person really quick and easy where it's like, hey,
Yeah,
and
that's a
you want
good
to build
one.
your team, but a lot of times we'll bring on a spot, say like your social media manager, and you're going, I'm going to pay this person 65,000 a year to post things on social media. There's a lot better ways that you can look to find alternatives to that.
Don't jump the gun on hiring a new person,
Yeah.
buying a new piece of equipment, etc. Analyze before you commit. And like Pat says, hire someone part-time or source it out to someone else to do instead of taking on that full-time bearing of cost,
Yeah.
because down the road, you may not like them. They may not work out. You may not
Yeah.
be recouping enough profit from that event. So
Yeah.
definitely look
And,
at
and
renting machinery, etc.
your initial expense, isn't your only expense if you offer benefits and do things like that. And the other thing is equipment. Like I've got a good friend who runs an arborist, and he's only got 3 guys, but he's got equipment that he spent a lot on. But he's like, we are so much more efficient. And a lot of people, like for us, trenching machines, we buy these line ward trenching machines that are really nice. And a lot of people say, like, I don't want to spend $15,000 on a trencher. Instead, I'm going to hire 2 guys. And you go, like, well, now you're at $120,000. If a machine can do it faster,
Yeah.
have a machine.
Yeah. Analyze that cost versus, input versus rewards, and pull the trigger, like Rick Ross said on that, upgrade your ass and get something better to increase the quality and efficiencies.
And
And another
get rid of
thing,
them when they get old.
yeah,
Vehicles, anything like that. Once you start going,
yeah,
hey, I'm starting to bring this in the shop quite a bit, sell
yep.
it for what you can get out of it and upgrade.
Yeah. So you hit on a good one. So investing in good employees, we
Oh,
think, oh my God, he's too expensive, but a good employee is going to outperform so much more than a bad employee.
yeah.
And so you're going to invest in a lot of time, training, and payroll. But if they're damn good, you better hold on to them, because they're going to really help scale and grow your company so much better
Yeah.
than this huge revolving door of shitheads
Yeah.
that, you're paying them not much, but they slack off. They have bad morale. They screw up
Yeah.
too many times, and it's just going to
Watch the
cost you so
clock.
much more. What?
They watch the clock. And, I'm a big proponent on you incentivize how you want behavior to work. So it's like, if the only way they're going to make more money is if they get overtime, it's amazing how much slower the job can go. And you could even be there watching them and you're just like, they're not moving at the pace that I would move at. I'm like, well, I have a different incentive. I'm not getting paid to stay at a job till 8 o'clock at night. I'm getting paid as soon as the job's done.
Right.
So those are all things to consider. Is like, am I rewarding the behavior that I want?
Yeah, exactly. So pay for performance is a good tool to incentivize someone to do a job of quality and do it efficiently, and then they get rewarded for that
There'd be
instead of
an
hourly.
argument for subcontractors.
Uh-oh. Don't step on my subcontractors.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you use a lot of subcontractors, like I do, you do have the risk of them flying through a job so they can jump to the next one and get paid.
Yeah.
Because with subcontractors, you don't pay them hourly, you pay them for each job.
Yeah.
And then if they rush through a job and underperform, you're going to have to manage that and inspect that, because people, you got to inspect things in order to get that expectation level back. So
Definitely.
don't be afraid to renegotiate contracts with vendors.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to renegotiate your contracts with your clients. If we go to the vendor route, Pat, you're buying in bulk to negotiate a better deal on recurring costs in your company.
Yeah.
You know,
And talk to other people, find out products people are using. There's always something new and innovative coming out, and a lot of times, I'm not a big proponent of just switching from one thing to the next, because it's a big ship you're running. And if you choose wrong products and choose the wrong weed killer and it doesn't work, or mosquito treatment and it doesn't work, like, it could kill your business. But, always be aware, like join different groups, Facebook groups, whatever it is, and find out things that are going on in your industry.
right? Yeah, but buying in bulk is a great tool to save money for something you already know you're going to need. So that's in your budget, right? So let's say I'm a landscaper and I do my annual budget, and each year I spend $1,000 historically on Roundup.
Yeah.
Well, I may be able to spend only $800 this year if I buy it in bulk ahead of time in 55 drums.
Mm-hmm.
It's an investment. It's a new training tool I'm going to have to perform, because going to a big 55-gallon drum is a lot different than having a bunch of separate higher price handhelds of Roundup. So consider that and make that a process, procedure, SOP, and automatically you just shaved off $200 on that one material purchase per year. That can happen tenfold on fertilizer, herbicides, you name it. I mean, there's so many materials that we use in our outdoor trades. Wood, if you're into the woodworking fields of decks and fences. So you negotiate deals. I know vendors will often say, man, we're going to have a 7% upgrade in price this year because, costs have gone up. You may need to renegotiate that with them and say, hey, well, I understand costs go up, but I can't go to my customers and up them 7%. Why don't we do a stair step where you hit me with 3 this year, and then next year hit me with 5, and now you're up 8 total, and now I can go ahead and give my customers that heads up that, hey, next year we're going to have to do 5.
Yeah.
So work with them best you can. They'll work with you if you're proactive and communicate with them on a man-to-man level or a woman-to-woman level. Another thing is client contracts. So writing in an annual cost of living increase in your contracts is crucial, because that gives them the expectation that, hey, next year they're not going to just stay the same. We're going to have a 3 to 6, 7% increase depending on the cost of living.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We put a range. We don't often put an exact cost of living. And then also you can, in some fuel heavy services like landscaping that uses a lot of equipment and trucks, you can instate a fuel spike surcharge blurb in your contracts that say, hey, if the cost of 87 unleaded per gallon goes over $4.50 per gallon, we are going to then need to apply a surcharge to your monthly invoice until the price falls back below $4.50.
Yeah.
Some people are for that and against it. So there's two sides on that fence completely. I understand. We had to do it because our customers were we had hundreds of customers and fuel was our main expense.
Yeah.
And so we had to do it. And believe it or not, people will pay it, and we didn't have very much kickback, but we gave them the heads up before we did it. We sent out a newsletter explaining why this is such a big cost in our business, et cetera, and that we have no choice but to, and we didn't hit them with a lot. It wasn't like we were making money off of them or anything. It was just to recoup that difference in a percentage.
Yeah, and in the lighting world, I had a guy take me on early, someone who wrote a book on lighting, and I love this philosophy is keep it simple. And so like a lot of times people become artists and they just get full of like themselves, I guess. And I had one person that's like every job I go on, I have different proposal of different lights that I'm using. But the problem with that is it's so hard to have a systematic way to do service where it's like you basically have to send a guy out to look at it,
Yep.
find out what the products are, come back, order the products, go back out again. And we're all about like how to get the most out of your billable man hours because it's really you're selling a product and you're selling billable man hours. And those are your two things that make you money. And
Yeah.
if you're putting 3 to 5 hours on a service call that could be done in 1 to 2,
Excellent.
Yep.
Same thing with equipment. Once you buy and believe and a piece of equipment or tool works very well for you, keep buying that same damn piece of equipment because then your maintenance costs go down, your training goes down time because people know that machine or that tool, and it becomes an efficiency accelerator over time. If you keep consistencies in equipment, in materials, in because people learn it a lot more quicker instead of throwing a wrench in it. Hey, we got a brand new machine. Let's all learn it. And then there's a learning curve.
Yep.
And it's a time waster and screw that. All right. So, so we covered a lot of great ways that you can act now today. Put in the comments below what ways you're trying to cut costs and boost profits in your business. Remember, cost cutting shouldn't come at the expense of quality. You always got to focus on the value. Don't chase the cheapest option. Because usually the cheapest never works out. Look for the best value for the dollar. So you got to do that analysis as a business owner and make that. Is that investment worth down the road? You got to plan that out. So investing in efficiencies, sometime upfront investments and automations or technologies can save you money in the long run because it streamlines the process. So it's an investment up front. You got training, you got automations, you got software, but each week we shave off 1%, 2% time. Boom. Next week, same. Man, you're going to start getting way efficient. Now you're way under what you used to do it at the beginning. So that can scale big time to bring in so much more profit. And you didn't have to get another customer. You just gained 10% more profit on that particular job.
Yeah. And get in your books.
Get your head in there.
It sucks. It's not the fun part. But it's like ultimately you're responsible for everybody underneath you. You have to, you see it all the time. If you watch Shark Tank, what are your numbers? When someone comes on, they don't know their numbers. And I've been very guilty of this going, I'll just go and sell another job. That'll be easier, but you're just basically throwing gasoline into a fire going, why is it not working? So be in the accounting programs and
And then remember efficiencies in SOPs, standard operating procedures, make systems, go detail, do checklists like Pat mentioned. And a lot of those checklists can be integrated into your service software, such as House Call Pro. And that happy and engaged workforce, your best people are your best friends in business. Hug them every day. Give them accolades. Give them their flowers. What's said in the R&B world, I don't know where that's said. Give people their flowers. Give them respect. Reward them when they deserve it, and give them recognition. People need that pat on the back, and develop tiers of rewards in your company is always a great tool. To keep people, it's the carrot in front of the horse, or whatever you call that. Donkey?
Horse in front of the cart?
Mule.
Yeah, that's
no, carrot.
Yeah, the carrot that you're incentivizing. I think the other thing is, on the other side of that is having reviews. Like, I never was really, I had a job when I was 10 years old and things like that, but never a job that I was a real employee because I was always, running my own business. So reviews didn't mean a lot to me, but having that review with your employees, you just sit down, give them some one-on-one time, or then have your managers doing reviews with their staff so that, they're the expectations, like, because a lot of times you'll be frustrated with someone, but you haven't communicated with them where the frustration's coming from.
Excellent. Analyzing expenditures and implementing strategic cost-cutting measures is a powerful tool for any business owner. By optimizing your spending and eliminating waste, you free up resources that can be reinvested in growth, marketing, or simply, boosting your bottom line. We're talking profit. Remember, even the smallest reductions in expenses can translate into significant increases in profit, putting you back on the fast track to financial success. So roll up those sleeves, business owners, grab your reports, get into your budgets and your books, and get ready to unlock the profit potentially hidden within your own business.
Just a discipline. You have to be disciplined in life, and it's fun not to be, but it's just what you have to do. Otherwise, don't run a business.
There you go. Well, that wraps up this episode, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Outdoorsy Entrepreneur YouTube channel and hit those notifications. And listen to wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Business tools we love and use and highly recommend. Big Tuna websites. They build and host awesome websites, and they're not expensive. House Call Pro field service software. Amazing software that combines multiple elements to save us time and money. And ZebBit, estimating software. Know your numbers. Build a budget and get kick-ass profit on every job. Check out ZebBit. We got all the links down in the description below. And big thanks to all you outdoorsy entrepreneurs watching and listening and commenting. We're there to develop our own skills and business acumen together. Remember, it takes that 1% improvement for yourself, for your company, each week, each month. Set goals, work on those goals one at a time, and let's build a business together that can be a profit-making machine. It's a mindset change. So until we meet again, guys, peace out, Boy Scouts.
All aboard!